All right, today we are diving deep into the political art of plausible deniability. And to do that, we're going to look at one of the most spectacular, disastrous, and thankfully completely fictional press conferences ever. Get ready, this is a masterclass in total chaos.
So this is where it all starts. You've got the official story delivered with that kind of rock-solid, unwavering confidence you want from a press secretary. The message is simple, it's firm, and it's supposed to be the final word.
And bam, right away, that official story smacks right into a very different, very specific, and let's be honest, pretty awkward version of reality. Okay, let's get into this, because this is where a simple denial starts to spiral into a complete and utter meltdown.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in the White House press briefing room. You've got the super polished press secretary, Victoria Flackman, on stage. Right next to the, well, let's just call him the enthusiastically transparent Secretary of Defense, Harold Mumblesworth. I mean, this right here is the whole conflict in a nutshell. You have the ultimate agent of message control whose entire job is to shape the narrative, and then you have a human fire hose of top secret information. It is a perfect storm just waiting to happen.
So yeah, like we just saw, that ironclad no-leak story gets a huge crack in it from the very first question, and this forces Flackman to do what she does best. She has to start spinning, and fast.
And this, right here, is spin doctoring 101. See, the goal isn't really to be believed. It's to create an alternate story that is just plausible enough to sow some doubt. A social studies project? A popular board game? I mean, it sounds completely ridiculous. But its only job is to muddy the waters, to give the administration a leg to stand on.
So just when you think Flackman might have put out that first little fire, a whole bunch of new ones start erupting. And this time, they're not in a bathroom, they're all over the internet for everyone to see.
And the problem just goes from 0 to 100, right? We've gone from one piece of paper to broadcasting state secrets to millions of people, a TikTok showing where the entire Pacific Fleet is going, a live stream from inside the nuclear command center. I mean, each leak is just exponentially worse than the last.
And you see what's happening, right? The crazier and more undeniable the leak becomes, the crazier the excuse has to be. Educational content, a movie set, a deepfake. Flackman is building this fortress of complete absurdity, and she's stretching the word plausible to its absolute breaking point to protect that original lie.
And this is where it all just goes completely off the rails, because the one person at the center of this whole mess, Secretary Mumblesworth, decides he's gonna help clear things up, live, on camera, right in the middle of the press conference.
And there it is. In one single, cheerfully honest sentence, Mumblesworth confirms the voicemail was real, totally destroying Flackman's deepfake story, while at the same time leaking brand new classified information. I mean, he just bulldozed her entire wall of deniability.
And then he tries to help again by offering everyone a classified map. Flackman's desperate move to say it's an Arby's Kids menu is just a masterclass in pure panic. It shows you just how far off the rails this whole thing has gone.
Okay, buckle up, because we're about to hit the point of no return. What happens next isn't just a PR problem anymore. It's a full-blown national security crisis, and it's playing out for the whole world to see.
And that's the sentence. That's the one right there. With one little comment about his Uber driver, this whole thing lurches from a comedy of errors into an active crisis. Mumblesworth isn't just leaking info anymore, he's literally explaining how it's being hand-delivered to an adversary.
You can just feel the air go out of the room. That's the sound of every single reporter realizing the story just went from a quirky piece about an eccentric cabinet member to a massive international incident. The game has completely changed.
Flackman's got one last tool in her toolbox. Oh, he's just kidding. But it's useless because Mumblesworth is so genuinely confused he can't even play along. He just cheerfully dismantles her last line of defense, leaving her with absolutely nowhere to go.
And then comes the grand finale. In one last, desperate attempt, Flackman tries to spin this as him remembering their anniversary date. But it's just too much. The dam has completely and totally burst.
Yep. When you can't spin, you can't deny, and you can't deflect, the only thing left to do is pull the plug. But as we're about to see, the chaos is far from over.
But it's not over. Even as they're dragging him out of the room, the leaks just keep coming. He's literally throwing classified intel into the crowd like it's confetti, leaving the reporters with more bombshell stories than they could possibly write.
Okay, so what in the world was all that about?
Well, this whole ridiculous mess is actually a perfect, if, totally over-the-top example of what happens when a real political strategy completely collapses. So let's step back and break down what we just saw. This is what it all comes down to. Flackman's entire mission wasn't to tell the truth. Her job was to build a wall of these plausible alternatives. The board game, the movie set, the deepfake. All of it was designed to create just enough doubt so that senior leadership could say, I knew nothing about this.
But here's the catch. Here's the fatal flaw we just watched unfold. Plausible deniability is a really delicate strategy. It requires everyone to stick to the story. Secretary Mumblesworth's cheerful, honest inability to stop talking didn't just hurt the strategy. It turned the whole thing into a live demonstration of guilt.
And that's really the big question this whole story leaves us with, right? I mean, message control is a standard part of politics, but the Mumblesworth disaster shows us that there's a tipping point. A point where the frantic effort to deny a problem spirals into a farce that becomes way, way more dangerous than the original truth you were trying to hide.